Take his freaking head off!
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. It's the Manson Brothers Show, and I think we foreshadowed what we're talking about this week. It's going to be The Exorcist. Oh my God, this movie.
One
We're
of
going
the
to talk about
greatest of all time.
We're going to talk about The Exorcist. We're going to talk about Linda Blair.
We're
going to talk about Soup. We're going to talk about roller skating. So much stuff. It's going to blow your brains out. And if you pay attention and you're not careful, you might even learn a thing or two.
But
We'll
probably
be right back
not.
with the Manson Brothers Show.
Aren't we putting the horse before the ox?
The cart.
The ox, the horse, whatever the f.
And we're back. This week's show, man, talk about a classic.
Man,
I mean-
could a scarier movie exist?
I don't think so.
I don't
don't-
either.
This movie made me want to be a priest. Like, I mean,
You know it scared him.
come
then.
on. Like a more influential movie there could not be ever
Man.
of all time.
All I know is the first thing, Dad forced Mom to go see it, and then afterwards she slept with that crucifix plastered to her body.
I just remember hearing all those crazy noises from upstairs.
Yeah, that was weird.
That's another thing.
That was weird. That's what you get when Dad buys a house for cheap. That's when he said, "Oh, there's just a bunch of murders."
When your
here."
dad looks like a more tan George Hamilton,
Yeah,
it's a thing. Anyway,
he's a spy.
so where do we even start? This movie begins.
I'm going to
with-
start with the fact of how William Friedkin filmed the thing, because that's part of the reason it's so scary.
Yes.
So William Friedkin came from he's from Chicago, by the way, another Chicago boy, one of my favorite directors, but he came up in the business world. I don't know if he worked for WGN or he worked for He worked for one of the Chicago companies making documentary film pieces.
Mhm.
So he has this docu-style,
And he made this look like
like a documentary,
documentary,
right? If you watch any of his films before that, French Connection or that,
it's
it's
such
right,
a classic.
classic, right?
Oh my God.
Same look, right? So it makes the person that's watching it feel that it's more real.
Right.
Like,
I agree.
like when you watch Return of the Living Dead or whatever, it's a hokey, it's a horror movie.
Right.
This one, very serious. So that
That's a
first,
very astute observation. by
well,
you.
that's what
especially from
totally,
a guy wearing a fez. What is going on with the hat this week?
It starts out in the Middle East. I'm wearing a fez. That's what they wear.
You look
over
like a
there.
Shriner.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the Shriners.
I know. I'm just saying. You
We
look
give
like-
money to them every year. But no, it starts out in the
money?
Middle East. In Middle East, they wear the fezzes. Anyway, Fendi. They find the statue of Pazuzu.
And Pazuzu is only like this big.
No, I think he's really big in the Middle East.
From a size perspective? Or
Yeah,
from a-
no, I think it's a big statue they uncover it. Or maybe it just looks that way. I don't know. Either way.
I'm just going to throw this out there. Pazuzu shows up in a bunch of movies
He does?
and a bunch of shit. What is going on with Pazuzu? Why is
Pazuzu's
he the de facto, like, kind of demon guy who gets into all?
Well, I heard about this on a podcast.
I'd like
So
to
they
know.
said that Pazuzu is a demon, that one of the demons that goes out to actually possess people. That's his job.
So he's proactive in
He's
his
pro.
possession?
Yeah, that's his job.
And the
And
other demons just
and he's-
hanging back, waiting for people to
well,
come
some
to
of them don't do that shit. They don't have the power, but he's really good at it. Apparently, he's really good at conniving people to thinking he's something else.
Well, that would explain Pazuzu's involvement in all of these
Right.
films.
So the priest at the beginning, played by the incomparable Max von Sydow,
Mhm.
he knows he's already fought the devil a couple times as an exorcist, and he happens to be doing this archaeological dig.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know why he's out there, but maybe that's his job. Actually, who knows?
Listen, if
But he
you're-
sees
if
the
you-
statue
Does
of
he work
Pazuzu.
for the
Who
Vatican?
knows?
Does he work for the Vatican?
I don't know if he works for the Vatican or for the Catholic Church. I mean, he's a priest. Obviously, he works for the church. In what capacity?
That's
Who
the
knows?
Vatican, right?
No.
But
The Vatican is like if you're in the government, like say you're in the government of Chicago, but you don't work in Washington, D.C., where the head office is.
but the Vatican is the head of the
it's
Catholic.
the head office, right?
So
Yeah.
if he's the top exorciser,
I don't think he's the top one. I just think he has experience in it.
that you should be ripped.
Because when the other priest played by
He should be like Mike O'Hearn. He should be in Mike O'Hearn shape if he's the top
yeah.
exorciser.
Who's it? I forget the guy's name. Jason Miller. He plays the priest, Karras. When he needs help, we need a more experienced man, and they go get Max von Sydow because he had done it before.
Greek priest. He went on to play what iconic football coach?
Joe Paterno.
Nope.
Who?
I think he was Air Parsegan in the movie Rudy.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
Dan Devine. It was one or the other.
Another interesting fact, father of Jason Patrick, the actor.
Is he really?
He is. And Jason Patrick's grandfather is Jackie Gleason.
That guy's
Jason
intense.
Miller married Jackie Gleason's daughter.
Jackie Gleason was a hell of a pool player.
Not only was he a hell of a pool player, he's a genius.
And he said some bitch really cool.
Some bitch. If folks out there, you Gen Z millennials out there, don't know who Jackie Gleason is, go back and watch The Honeymooners. YouTube Jackie Gleason
He
show.
was
The guy
one of the
was a
last of the
genius.
stand-up pool players. They didn't bend down. They just stood and
Yeah.
smoked cigarettes and made
Yeah.
shots and drank.
The Hustler. Excellent film. But we digest again. Getting back to The Exorcist. So this little girl
can't go
is
with that.
staying in, where is it? Georgetown?
Well, her mom was an actress working
Right.
in Washington, D.C.
Shooting a
right?
film.
Right,
Yeah, she's
shooting a
shooting
film
a
in DC.
film. So she's there with her nanny.
And
She's not particularly religious.
presumably ill most of the
Right.
time.
Divorced. Right. The mother.
Right. Yep.
Right. And they're not religious. So the daughter starts playing with a Ouija board.
Is that how it starts?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Just playing with a Ouija board. She's like, who's Captain Howdy? Captain Howdy's
Oh
the
yeah,
demon.
Captain Howdy.
He-
That's
you
right.
know, I ask the
yes.
questions and Captain Howdy answers.
Answers
Well,
them.
Captain
Yeah.
Howdy turns out to be a demon,
Pazuzu.
Pazuzu, who winds up possessing
Pazuzu-essing her.
the very talented Linda Blair, who
Oh
I
my
think kind of
God.
got a raw deal in her career because of The Exorcist, but at the same time, she'll be remembered forever. So, did she get a raw deal? Who knows? Good actress, probably should have done a lot more.
I loved her in Roller Boogie.
Yeah, Roller Boogie.
She was hot.
Yeah.
She
I
was.
think she was in a weird movie with Peter Fonda too called Hostage, Sweet Hostage.
You know what movie she was in that was great was
Hell Night.
Hell Night. That was a great movie. If you haven't seen
Wait a
that,
minute. Oh yeah, that is Hell
and that's
Night.
got a Van Dyke. in
That's
it,
a
too.
great
horror movie.
Great. A Van Dyke. Oh yeah, one of the Van Dykes.
Yeah.
The guy that did The Sopranos.
No.
Oh no, the other one.
Van Patten. It's got a
Van Patten. Van Patten. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was the guy. It's the guy that went on to do.
It's all those dicks. Dick Van
He
Dyke.
produced The
Dick Van Patten.
Sopranos. I think it was Vincent Van Patten. That's the kid.
One of them was a good poker player.
Tim Van Patten was Dick Van Patten's brother. He was in The White Shadow. He played Salami.
Oh, dude. Talk
Ken
about
Howard.
a great show.
Ken Howard. You couldn't get that show made today. Neither.
No way. The White Shadow was awesome.
It
He played
was.
Salami?
Yeah, he was
Salami was
Salami.
the best,
That's
man.
Dick Van Patten's brother, and then Dick Van Patten's son Vince
We are
did a lot with The
1,000,000%
Sopranos.
getting off the rails.
We're way off the rails. That's okay. It's this show about going off the rails. If you can't go off the rails in life, what the hell is life for?
How can we talk about The White Shadow on a show about The Exorcist?
I don't know. Things just happen that way. I don't make the
They do.
rules. I
They
just
do.
follow them.
They do. So, am I correct that they're in Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
Has there ever been a city, aside from its political, connections, that people talk less about in the United States of America?
Maybe.
They have. No one talks about their food. No one talks
Nope.
about their music scene.
Nope.
No one talks about their bars.
Nope.
No one talks about their sports.
Nope.
What's going on there?
I don't know. Dave Grohl's from Washington.
He's from Washington, D.C.?
So is Dave Chappelle.
Get
two
the fuck
Daves.
out of here.
Grohl and Chappelle.
I love them both. I
Yeah.
just watched Dave Chappelle on Saturday Night
Dave
Live.
Chappelle's
today.
a genius.
He is a
Genius.
complete genius.
Genius. But
Dave Chappelle, if you're watching,
what was your most scariest part in The Exorcist?
oh,
There's a lot of them,
God,
but I'll tell you what
man.
mine is after you tell me.
well, so until they did the added footage, when they did the added footage scene,
Oh, you mean where she's spider walking and that
that's
kind of
creepy
shit?
as
Yeah.
AF. I thought the creepiest part of the whole movie was when she comes downstairs and basically says, "You're gonna die."
Yeah,
out
and
there,"
pisses on the
pisses
floor.
her pants.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
And it's green.
I'm gonna give you two parts that
I've never peed. All the things I've peed, I've never peed green.
gotta eat the right foods. Anyway,
Is it broccoli or like asparagus?
asparagus. Anyway,
The ladies tell me pineapple's the best.
I think that's for something else.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So I have two scary scenes, which may not seem scary to you people, but it's scary to me. There's a scene where Ellen Burstyn, I believe it's Ellen Burstyn, plays the mom.
Yes,
She
absolutely.
goes upstairs with a candle to find out what's making the sound. And she's
Yeah.
talking to the butler. She's like, we have rats. He's like, no rats, no rats.
Oh, we have a no rats.
No rats. She goes upstairs with the candle, and all of a sudden the candle goes whoosh, this big flame.
Yep.
Simple gimmick, scared the shit out of me.
Super scary gimmick, though.
The other one was when the priest, Father Karras, is walking through the train station, and all of a sudden he hears this voice, can you help out an old altar boy, Father? I'm a cat. And he looks down, and it's this haggard old man with this 1,000-yard stare on his face. And later on, when he's talking to the devil says the same thing in the same voice. And that scared the living dog shit out of me.
Well, there is also, I think, I don't know if I'd go so far as to call it creepy, but it's very disturbing that he has lost his mother recently.
Yes.
And
when she starts talking like the mom.
Damien, why you don't come to see me? Oh my God. And
Oh.
it is not only, it's heartbreaking, right?
Shout out to our friend Tommy Lopez, who does an excellent imitation of the mom from the Exorcist.
It's not only heartbreaking, but when you can tell that he's so torn and he wants to talk to his mom,
but he knows it's not.
But he knows it's not his mom, and he keeps screaming.
I like how the devil talks too, just so matter of factly to him. He's like,
but it's got that like guttural, regurgitating voices.
Your mother's in here with us. And then he pisses the devil off. He's like, well, if my mother is in there with you, you should know her maiden name. What is it? I get the pea soup right in the face.
Viewer email. Perfect timing. Chad from Farmington, Illinois. Chad from Farmington, Illinois?
We know a Chad from
we
Farmington,
know that
Illinois.
guy. Chad, is this you?
I bet. How many Chads from Farmington, Illinois?
There's probably a ton of Chad.
Yeah. That's what I had to say.
Was that supposed to be Godzilla?
Yeah, go ahead.
Chad from Farmington, Illinois writes, clearly split pea soup, guys, in The Exorcist. What is, we've asked this question 100 times with that bowler hat you've got. What's your favorite soup on a cold winter day in Chicago?
For the 50 millionth time, our Ma's chicken tortilla soup.
Not me.
No, he don't like it. I love it.
Well, so first off, I love split pea soup. Every time I watch this particular film,
you don't want it.
It puts me off a split pea soup for a bit. But a good split pea with a bunch of saltines cracked up
oyster
in there,
crackers.
So it's almost like a paste.
Ooh, that sounds good too.
It's pretty great. My brother's chili, dude.
I make a damn good chili.
The greatest chili of all time.
I do make a.
It's even got celery in it. Sorry, it even has celery in it.
For fiber,
so you've got that extra fiber for tomorrow on the job.
So next time you have to go see a horse, you see a man about a horse, and the horse has to take a dump. That's what it's for.
I never wanted to hear that term on this show. Ladies, I apologize. Do not let it be a bad reflection on myself. But I'm going to tell you, if clam chowder counts as a soup, that's my favorite soup.
Yeah, no like it fish.
I've been known to love clams in my day.
Yep.
And I love a good clam chowder. So Chad, if you're the same Chad, if you're not, thanks for your email.
Let me ask you this. At the end of when The Exorcist first came out and they ran it, there was a controversy about the ending. So again, spoiler alert, we spoil shit on this show. So if you don't like it, don't watch.
Hit pause. Go watch the movie.
You're not going to be. We want you to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not going to be disappointed watching The Exorcist. I promise. There are movies that we will cover throughout this show that you may watch and be like, "What a steaming festering pile of horse manure." This is not one of them. If you haven't seen it, first off, you probably shouldn't even be tuning in to this.
Yeah, you're not.
But we are so desperate for viewers.
Yeah, we'll do anything.
We are not going to turn you away.
Do anything. Anyway,
we're going to encourage you to go watch it and then come back.
So the controversy was the priest says, "Come into me," right? Rips off his crust. So the devil goes into the priest. The priest throws himself out the window. He rolls down the stairs. So in the original ending, he dies. And there was a big uproar about that from Christian America, most likely, because technically, if he died like that without having his sins forgiven, he would go to hell. So Friedkin went back, we shot it. So his buddy comes over, who's the piano player, who, by the way, was actually a priest. That guy, he wasn't an actor, he was a priest, comes by and gives him, what do you call the Dominus Vobiscus, and forgives him. Yeah. He goes, if you're sorry for your sins, squeeze his hand. He goes, all right, I forgive you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And that's that. He gets a sin forgiven. So he had to go back and change the ending. I thought that was interesting.
I think for me, it'd be cooler if this cat was willing to go to hell to keep a young girl from being
Well, I think he
possessed.
was. That was the deal. He was willing to do it, but they just changed the ending, so he didn't have to.
They shouldn't have changed
His
it.
buddy got it. I agree. I think it was better the other way. But either way, it's a great movie. It doesn't spoil it, right? You know what else I found was what the guy that plays the detective, Lee J. Cobb. Did you know he was the original choice for Mickey and Rocky?
No.
Yeah. So when
How could there
Sylvester
be another Mickey and Rocky?
they wanted Lee J. Cobb, but Lee J. Cobb's such a gruff guy. When he read, they were like, no. And then they got Burgess Meredith.
Well, Burgess Meredith wasn't gruff?
Not compared to Lee J. Cobb. Go watch On the Waterfront with Marlon Brando if you want a good thing of Lee J. Cobb. But Lee J. Cobb plays the detective in this.
You eat lightning and crap thunder, kid.
When he's talking to Ellen Burstyn or the priest about the murder in the house of the director, it's really creepy the way he says it. He's like, he was found in us with his head turned completely around.
Well, so, and speaking of which, we have to go back and say this was obviously a movie that shocked a lot of people because you had a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, masturbating with a crucifix.
And
try getting that one past the censors.
And spewing all of these just, good Lord, hateful pieces of commentary laden with terrible language.
All kinds of shit. Anti-Semitism, the whole 9 yards.
I mean, when you say that your something does something in somewhere, and that's coming from a 12-year-old kid, that is...
It's pretty heavy.
That's heavy, dude. When her head...
If I said that when I was 12, our mother would have beat the shit out of it. Devil nor no devil.
Mom loved me. She wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah, it's because you're the golden
But remember when her head turns all the way around?
Mom's?
No, Mom's head never turned around.
Oh.
Reagan,
yes.
In the movie.
Yeah, because the director got his head turned around, so she's admitting to the murder. That's the creepy part. A lot of people that passes people. Or the devil was admitting that he killed the guy.
Because the head was
turned around. Right. And I didn't catch that the first couple times I saw it. It took a while.
You should really, speaking of taking a while, take a while to take the fez off.
Never.
Fez. But there were a lot of moments in this movie that were just so angst-ridden. When she's doing all the testing, before they know what's
it's
going on,
uncomfortable.
and they've got the
that line in her neck, in her jugular vein,
blood until they put the line in there. Like, this kid is
going through hell.
This kid's not only going,
and then you got the doctor's bullshit, smoking,
in
being nonchalant. He doesn't really care,
right?
But he gives her the idea to contact the church.
But the point is that by the time she's actually going through hell, she's been through hell and back,
right? Physically with these people.
Through every test she could possibly take. Like, this kid has gone through everything.
You know, I think it really scared me because, you know, I admit to being kind of a religious person and I believe in evil and stuff like that. And that scared me. It really did. It scares me to this day. You know why? I guess if it's something that you could punch and you could put your hands on or shoot, it's a different thing. But you can't shoot or punch the devil.
Have you ever heard the line, I have the fire, I have the force, I have the power to make my evil take its course?
Yeah.
By him?
Yeah. Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast.
And we come full circle. I think Number of the Beast actually has some Exorcist references.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen to it. I don't know.
Album.
It probably does. I mean, The Exorcist influeed a lot of things, including The Omen. So The Omen, you could say, would be the first of the Exorcist ripoff. But if you really want to watch
That
a
was not a
fun
ripoff.
one, watch Beyond the Door, which is a direct ripoff of The Exorcist. At least they marketed it that way in 1975.
Well, so let's talk about that. The Exorcist had a string of really crappily failed sequels.
Except
what a great
Exorcist
movie it was.
3 is really good, and it's got one of the scariest scenes in movie history in
Right.
there.
But,
and they
but
even
none of them
mention
were
it.
well received, right?
No, and Exorcist 2 has Richard Burton, who's so drunk he can barely get through the.
Say
terrible.
price, where are the whores?
No, that's James Mason.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
But Richard Burton, a well-known drunk.
But point being, unlike most great horror movies that were able to spawn franchise
Yeah.
after franchise,
I think this one had 3 or 4 sequels.
it did, but they were all turds.
The Exorcist 3 is worth watching. The rest of them, don't bother. They're not good. But we may review a few of them because we've seen them. So
eventually, because you guys have been so great, we're gonna get to the point where we run out of movies, and we're gonna have to be like,
take suggestions.
this week's is The Exorcist
We'll
5.
never run out of movies. We get 900,000.
Let's take a minute to talk about how hot Linda Blair was.
Not in that movie,
No.
but like in Roller Derby USA.
Dude,
Was it or is it Skate Town USA?
it's roller derby
Yeah.
and then Hell Night.
Hell Night.
She was
Gorgeous.
HOT,
Ah,
super hot,
gorgeous.
super hot.
Linda, we'd love to work with you.
How did she not be a much bigger
She
star?
got pigeonholed
For what? Being
for
a
being in The
kid?
Exorcist. Yeah.
That's terrible.
It
She
doesn't,
was
it's
smoking.
not that way now, thank God. But like these child actors and stuff,
I'd
they
like
would
to
grow up.
pigeonhole
And
her.
how many of them didn't wind up screwed up?
She's still good looking now.
Yeah, as an older chick. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's got to be in her 60s probably now.
She's older than us. I know.
Yeah,
that.
for sure, for sure.
And we're old.
But you know who else is great in that movie is Max von Sydow as the priest, the older priest.
I
Ah,
gotta say,
man, he's so
the
good.
guy who plays the priest, I don't know his name.
Terrace.
Yeah.
Jason Miller.
He's
He's great.
phenomenal.
Yeah, he's so natural. He
Oh
had
my
this
God.
great. He came from a stage background.
And he's got that just kind of presence thing when you're
Yeah,
on him. You can tell
see him.
there's this priestial angst that he kind of you kind of get the feeling that he's not sure if he even believes all of
Well,
it.
that's I think the point of
know?
it. He's losing his faith. He even tells
Right.
his buddies, like, I'm losing my faith.
With his mom's passing,
Right, he
and
doesn't-
all of these other things.
They're coming. He's a psychiatrist,
Ri-
so people come to me
Yes.
because like they're coming to me with matters of I can't answer
and
them.
he can't because he's the priest who's losing his faith.
Yeah, they're
right?
coming to me with matters of their faith, and it's not good for me and all. Which is why he's a perfect victim for
Absolutely.
the devil because he's weak.
That trope gets played out even further in the classic From Dusk Till Dawn with Harvey
Yeah.
Keitel.
Yeah,
playing the
it
preacher
does.
who's losing
Right,
his
who's
faith.
who becomes a badass later on, right? Yeah. So I mean,
As a matter of fact, he's a badass servant of God.
right. The reason that this movie to me is also so effective and real is because of that performance of Jason Miller, Ellen Burstyn, and Lee J. Cobb. They're
Yeah.
so natural. You feel like you're listening to two people just having a
100%.
conversation.
And I think it goes back to what
in
you were
real
talking about. It
time.
looks like a documentary. It looks like we are watching this play itself out
Yeah.
in real time.
Nobody chews scenery like
No.
imagine if it would have starred William Shatner as the priest. I think you're possessed by the devil. You know, I mean, he totally over. But I love you, Bill. I love you, and his acting is awesome for certain things, but not.
You
for
know
a
who
movie
could have
like
been a cool
that.
priest in this movie? He would have been too young at the time, but William Forsythe. Our good buddy. Will
Oh, he
Forsythe.
would have been great.
He would have kicked ass
Oh yeah,
as the badass
yeah.
preacher guy.
He would have been awesome.
If
What
they ever
about
did a
that?
remake, which they
What if
shouldn't
you had
do.
William Forsythe as the younger priest, and then you had Powers Booth as the older priest?
Oh man, Frailty Prowers Booth.
Yeah. God rest his soul.
So kick ass. I think it's fitting that we've got Jimmy Page with us here tonight.
Yep. And we're talking about the devil.
The Devil. We're pretty sure that they sold their souls. The greatest band of all time.
Well, if they didn't, he sure tried.
As Jack Black once famously said in the Kennedy Center honors.
Come on,
Come
guys.
on, guys. You know
you
you did. There's no other way to explain your unearthly talents, which is true.
By the way, it's one of
100%
the
true.
only things we agree on is that Led Zeppelin is the greatest rock and roll
greatest
band on
rock
the
and roll
planet.
band that's ever lived. And if you ever want to hear shit about Vikings or making love,
Or Vikings making
or Vikings making love,
love. Or Hobbits
Yeah.
making love to Vikings.
it's Zeppelin. That's the way to go. This is the time, unfortunately, kids. We got to take it home. They're telling us in my ear right now.
Wait a minute. I don't want to wait. I got one more thing to say about The Exorcist.
Let's hear it.
There's never been an equal to it.
An equal or
There's
a
never
sequel?
been an equal in that genre of movie about possession.
There will never be.
There'll never be an equal.
You can't do it. It's the Wilt Chamberlain of possession movies.
That it is the Wilt Chamberlain of possession
It is.
movie.
It's the Led Zeppelin of possession.
It
movies.
is the Led Zeppelin of possession movie.
There's three
That's
things I'm
right.
sure about. Led Zeppelin's the greatest band of all time.
Yep.
Wilt Chamberlain is the greatest athlete that's ever lived. And The Exorcist is the most unparalleled possession movie ever.
Yeah,
We
we
will
could
never make
discuss
another
the
movie about that.
unparalleled athlete thing, but
We can.
whatever.
Greatest basketball player that ever lived.
Yeah.
Check the stats.
Dick Butkus.
Get the
Dick Butkus.
We gotta go. It's time to take it home. Tell
All
them,
right.
tell them the info. That they
You can
need.
go to MansonBrothers.com and get you one of these great t-shirts. You can get our movie, The Manson Brothers Midnight Zombie Massacre, a really fun ride on Blu-ray or DVD, also at Amazon.com. Also available for streaming on Amazon, YouTube, iTunes, wherever else you can
These
find it.
pictures
It's
are great
on there.
because you
These
can take a pair of
pictures.
scissors and cut right up the middle here
And get
keep
rid
the
of
Manson
his.
Brothers part. Keep this good-looking cat with the
Nah.
sunglasses.
And we'll even sign them for you too.
Like it or not.
Oh yeah, we can get the ducky hat like that. You can get a mug if we have any more that's got our saying on the back.
These
We
are
put the
super cool.
FU in fun.
We do.
did.
100%.
MansonBrothers.com.
We did and do and are going to keep putting the FU in fun.
We are.
MansonBrothers.com. Thanks for being here this week. Check out Everybody on the Arrow on the Head YouTube channel.
Yep.
Most importantly, us. If you're going to pick one,
Pick us.
these guys. Come back next week. We're going to have more fun shit. And here we go. Put your shopping carts away, kids. Do something nice where you're not police, for God's sake.
Yep. Wipe your ass thoroughly too.
And by the way, have your pets spayed or neutered too.
See you, shitty pants.
Love you guys.